Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Brian, and today I thought I'd show you how to get an old pedal which sounds pretty scratchy and horrible sounding. This one's one I haven't done yet, and here's one I've done. It sounds a lot smoother and nicer, and I'm just going to show you quickly how to open it up, clean the bearings, make it work like a new pedal again. I mean, I've had these for years, but rather than buy a new pair, there's no point. They've got years of life left in them. They might look a bit tatty, but they've served me well for years, and I'd rather get a lot more use out of them. To be honest, I'm not really that worried about how they look. It's how they perform, really. So I'll show you how to fix it up like new. First thing first, we need a spanner to pretty much hold the back end, and you need a socket wrench to get in there and get your nut off. So let's get started. First things first, you also need a screwdriver, and you've got to get this plastic cap off the end, which you can use a screwdriver or a knife, just as long as you don't stab yourself in the hand. It's not nice being stabbed in the hand with either a knife or a screwdriver, really, but which I've slightly done both of in the past, doing things very much like this. But just go careful and you should be alright. There you go, it's coming off now. Just got to get it under the little cap piece. If you notice, I'm trying to hold it back here, and I'm putting the pressure of the screwdriver away from me, so if I do slip, hopefully it'll go in that direction, not towards my hand. And this one's being quite stubborn. Like I said, just keep going at it, but just watch those fingers and that hand. There you go. Eventually you'll get it to pop off, just like that, going off, and that exposes the inside pretty much of the pedal, the nut on the back, which you need to get undone. And what I like to do is get the spanner, put it on the back nut like that, like so, and then get the socket. Now I'm trying to think, that would be anti-clockwise. You want anti-clockwise to undo it, so hopefully this is an anti-clockwise one. The other one was anti-clockwise, but you never know with things like pedals. One's going to go one way and one's going to go the other, so let's get this on here and try to get it at a good angle where I can sort of try not to punch the floor when and then there you go. Now I've got the spanner on holding the one side, which sometimes I actually put my foot onto, and then I'll put some pressure down, hold the pedal, put some pressure down on the spanner with my hand. There you go, and it just cracked open then. So now I can take that one off the back. Use this neck spanner now, so you can pretty much turn the back end and hold that still if you want. Get that nut off. Here you go, it's come right off. There's the nut, the retaining nut that basically holds the whole thing in. Then you've got a washer underneath, and what I like to do now, I like to get a screwdriver with quite a flat end, poke it in there, and you can undo the nut then that way. Or you can hold the screwdriver if you want, like that. Hold it, see if you can hold it in there like that, and then turn the back end. That's probably the easiest way to do it, until the washer rides up high in there. And you can grab the washer off then, chuck that on the floor down there, don't need that yet. And then you can see the nut there, it's right at the top. Now I can usually hold it with my finger, but you've got to watch you don't let all the bottom end fall out too fast, so all the bearings fall on the floor. But you pretty much have to watch out for that all the time, just don't let the back end fall down and all the bearings go everywhere on the floor. There you go, there's the nut off. Most of the time I'll end up dropping half the bearings on the floor anyway, but as long as you find them all and put them all back in after, and now you've got all them bearings exposed. All you've got to do is try and tip them into your hand. If they don't want to come, just poke them with your screwdriver sometimes. If you can just make sure you keep hold of the back bit, the back bearings don't fall out. And have a little, there you go, a little yogurt pot or something nearby. Put your bearings in. The other two didn't want to come out because there's still a bit of old grease in there. Problem is with the old grease though, is it's gone, basically a load of gravel, all sorts from riding has gone in there, and the grease itself is just, it's really gone gunky and dirty basically. So now this part, I like hold my hand there and just let it open and catch as many bearings as I can. They all come out by this. If I look at it this time, they all just fell out. So into my hand. So a couple left stuck on the shaft or whatever you call it there. So got all them off. That's safe. Now I can plonk them in there. And there you go. You've got your bearings. Put them to the side, out the way, and get yourself a nice greasy cloth. Nice oily cloth there, and just give this a good wipe. Well, it can be a clean cloth, but it won't be clean after you're finished. I'm going to show you with that. Now, just give it all, the threads on the end and everything, a good wipe, and around where the bearings are in contact there. Now, sometimes with this, I like to get a bit of WD-40 and just give it a bit of spray around there. Helps you clean all that nasty grease off, nasty gunk, keeps it all nice and cleaned up basically. So there you go, that's that basically nice and clean. So you can put that to the side as well. Pretty quick job. And then you want to get that nut bit that went right down inside, and the bit with where the bearings go against. And that's very often, it's hard to get the old grease off sometimes, it's just so sticky, and so the WD-40 just dissolves it up a bit, and you can just wipe it away then pretty easily. So that's that. Just give it a, see, nice and shiny, nothing wrong with that. I like to use old things. I like to try and repair things before I just think of just buying something new, just because it looks a bit nicer. I do actually like the older look a bit better. If it's a bit scratched up and a bit old, it's got a bit more character really, hasn't it? There you go, I'm just giving the nut, just give this nut a quick wipe, and the washer also. Give them a quick wipe. And that's about it for that. And then all you've got to do then is take the pedal itself, and ooh, look at all that grease then, and there's a lot of grease that's just gone really gunky and horrible down there, really dirty. Big line of dirt round in there, big line of dirt round in that pedal. So get that out, and later you'll be getting the hoover out too, so don't worry about making a mess. Do it in the kitchen like me or something, or in the garage, wherever you want to do it. So it's easy. I wouldn't do it in your living room or something, over your carpet. I mean, the grease is going to get in your carpet, and I don't think you're going to try that, are you? Not even I'd do something that daft. So there you go. Now it looks all black down the bottom, and I don't know now at the moment, I don't know yet if that's just grease that's not coming out, or whether it's just, yeah, it's just where it's old and it's the metals gone like blackened. I mean, there's no pitting in it. If you feel pitting in it, like where the metal's all like pitted, like little holiness in there, here you go, the whole thing even popped out of this one, which don't often happen, but you can pop them out really, I suppose, but you can pop them out and clean all right down inside if you want, but I'm not going to go to them lengths at the minute. I'm just going to plop it back in. You can see that better now. It's where it's gone a bit dark, the metal. Not really loads of pitting or anything in there. Let's just give it another spray up, see if I can get some of it. Some of it does look like grease, but I'm not sure. And if you want, you can put like a screwdriver on the end, put a rag on the end of a screwdriver, I mean, and just do it around, just get it around there inside, just yeah, and that's got a lot of that black out actually, mind it. It's still a bit black where it's had maybe slightly a bit rustiness of the metal, like a while ago or something, where it was maybe left a bit too long before. But that's not bad. That's not bad, that's fine, that's great, you're good to go with that. And stick that back in there. Push that down, don't worry about it not being tight or something, because once you put the thing back in and tighten it all up, once you put the shaft back in it and tighten it all up, it'll be nice and safe, it's not going to go nowhere. And then the fun bit, move that to the side. You want to take all these dirty bearings, give them a nice bit of WD-40 in there, and then what I like to do is tip them onto my hand, give them a good old roll about in my hand, get my hands all dirty, bit of a dab with the cloth on top, just watch you don't lose them. And then what I like to do mostly is get another clean pot and get a lid like this. This is the bottom of a pot noodle tub because I didn't have, usually I like to use a jar lid or something like that is good. If you've got any sort of little plastic tray or metal jar lid or anything like that, because it's nice and shallow, it's easier to just pick the bearings out of it. And now just take a few at a time. This is what I usually do, take a few at a time, about 3 in there or something, and just run them around in your cloth, give them a little clean, still got my fingers out, and then put them in the clean pot. It's best to have a little shallow tray because they're so easy to pick out of there then, and you can see how many you get in and stuff, so you don't know, so you don't drop them sort of thing, and so much easier. There you go. I think I'm off camera there. I'm just giving them a quick run through the cloth like that. Let's move them to the side so I can get the cloth right up here so I can show you. Just hold the cloth between your fingers and give them a little run round in there. Whichever way you need to do it, just do it. Just give them a wipe. Don't be too far from the floor though. Don't like stand up doing it, because then if you drop a bearing, it's going to go shooting off across the floor, never to be seen again. And that's another thing, if you ever are throwing about way up here pedals or something like that, just take them apart, take the bearings out, keep the bearings maybe, so if you ever do lose a bearing and need one of that size, you know, you've always got spares around there. The last two, sometimes I do more than, you know, do the load more at a time, but because I'm trying to do it on the camera, I didn't want to look silly and drop more over the floor, which I'm probably going to do now. But here you go. Now you can take the tray away. Actually, I might need the tray. Let's give the tray a little wipe because it's gone a bit dirty. I'm just going to wipe it out a bit, and I'm going to count out these bearings. There should be 12. Well, there should be 12 for each side, I think it was. No, it's 11, I think. I think there was 22 bearings in all, so let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11. I'll count 11 in there, and I'll count 11 into this pot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There you go, 11 bearings for each side. So each side of the pedal. So now what you want to do is you want to grab a tube of grease, tube of bike grease or just whatever good grease you've got lying around really. And you want to take your pedal and you want to get some grease on your finger and put it down in there. And on this just quick wipe, I want to make sure, I don't like leaving too much WD-40 in there because it's going to dissolve that grease up a bit more, so you want it out of there basically. And this grease staying nice, and get a bit on your finger like that and just run it around the inside of there. Not too much but not too little, just that'll do, it's fine. I coated it now around the inside of there, that's great. Especially for your pedals, you don't really want too much because then they'll be just too stiffened up and they won't run that well. They'll be alright, like you probably won't notice when you're riding, like it's not going to really do nothing for you, it's not going to really mess anything up, but I mean as long as you don't stick copious amounts of grease, just there you go, some in that side, that's enough for me I reckon, that's just fine. As long as the bearing's got some nice grease to run around on. And I'm going to grease up the other parts too, so it'll pretty much have a lot of grease around there anyway, sort of being transmitted between things like the bearings. And now a bit of grease on my finger there, and go around here. See, I'm going around the bottom shaft bit now where it goes in, and that's enough for that. And I do like to rub a bit down as well to the middle of the shaft, because that bit just give it an extra bit of protection, don't it, for weatherproofing, etc. Right, and now what you want to do, I'll give my fingers a quick wipe because they're covered in grease, and I'll get this bit next. I'll do this bit now so that I'm not fumbling about with it afterwards. And I'll just get a bit of grease on my finger there, and then around the edge of it. Am I in the camera there, guys? I know I'm like for going out of the camera. There you go. Now you've got all the bits ready for putting in ready. You can rub a bit of grease on your bearings as well. So now what you want to do is get these two, plonk that back up inside where it's supposed to go, like that, and you want to poke with your finger up the other side. Don't put it too far to this narrow bit, because then all the bearings will just fall down the middle, but it's quite a way up to that narrow bit anyway, but I like to try and keep it down as low as I can, like that, just enough to get the bearings in. And then you want to grab these bearings out of here one by one. I'm not going to bother greasing the bearings. I sometimes do. I'll put a bit of grease in the palm of my hand and plop the bearings in there, but I think as soon as these bearings go in all this grease, they're just going to get greased up anyway. So I'm going to start counting 1, 2, 3 just to make sure I do get them all in. 4, and have good visual, make sure you see them going in. 5, and you can plop that down a little bit and get them seated good if they're not. It's like they're not going in very good now, they're sort of poking about, so get your screwdriver if you want. And that one wanting to go in very well, so what was that? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, waffling away, see I lost counting a bit, 10, 11, there you go, lock it down, and there you go. That is running really nicely on there. So now you want to make sure you hold on to that tightly. I usually like to get in the palm of my hand like that, so I can just put my foot on the end of the grease tube and get grease on my sock. But there you go. You're back in the camera, I think I went off there. Next, bearings, and I like to put them in the little tray as well, because otherwise, like I say, it's hard to pick them up out of the big tray. So let's just plot these in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There you go, really quick job there. And then I'll just poke them down a little bit with my screwdriver, little flathead there, and I'll try and get them so they're sitting around the outside where they're nice and comfy in the grease. Then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this little greased up fella and probably drop it on the floor if I'm not careful. Oh, there you go. There you go, I lied to you, I didn't drop it on the floor. It makes a change, I usually drop it on the floor. There you go, and then get it turning on with your finger like that. Now you can get your socket set and turn this on. Your socket like, but I usually like to just get one of the screwdrivers. This is the little one, it's easy. As long as you don't go poking your bearings out of there, just put the little screwdriver in and give it a whiz bang. Get it to go down. You've got visual, you can see them bearings, they're not getting crushed or anything. And there you go. And that's nice and tight in there. I do like to give it a little bit, maybe a tiny bit of looseness. There you go, that is the smallest amount of looseness ever. And is that even a word, looseness? I don't know, but there you go. Now what you want to do is you want to get your washer. Now your washer's got like little groove bits on the side, it should have, so it goes, basically once it's on it doesn't turn. So when you put the top nut on there, got your top nut on. There you go. Try not to cross thread it. If it's, don't just put it on and try and turn it, sort of wriggle it a bit and give it a turn it back the opposite way and forward, and then that should be alright. Yeah, I want to change that so it's in the clockwise. Yeah, that'll tighten it up clockwise. You can do that, you can even turn the back again, and there you go. I do it loosely, and then I like to see if I'd like to loosen that up slightly more, to be honest. And you've got to remember as well that when you tighten this end nut down, I'm going to undo that end nut a bit. I didn't really tighten it in that much, but I'm going to get my screwdriver again. I'm holding the one nut, the bottom one, and I'm turning the back end to loosen it, because I want it, that's too much now, don't it? I've just got too much wriggle in it. But I want it so there's a little bit of wriggle. Sometimes you get it right straight away, sometimes you don't. Here you go, there's quite a sort of little bit of wriggle in that one. I mean, in my other one there's, well, it's about the same amount in that, I think. I don't mind a little bit of wriggle in my pedal. It's perfect. And you've got to remember, when you tighten that nut on the back of there, it's going to tighten the whole thing up, so it'll actually put pressure on that washer against that nut as well, which will sort of give it a little bit of extra tightness anyway. So if you have it perfectly tight to begin with, you often find then that when you tighten the one on top, you end up with it too tight. So now what I'll do is hold that on the floor, and I'll pull upwards because now it's clockwise, and I'll get it nice and firmed in there, not too tight, not too loose. And there you go, spins great. Tiny bit of a wobble, not too much, but now it's nice and quiet. Can't hear all that gravel going around in there no more, all the grittiness. Just get that, give that a bit of a wipe with my finger, make sure there's nothing. It's just going to drop straight inside there, will ruin all my good work. Pop your cap back on, and there you go. That's good for another few many years now. Another few many years, did that make sense? That's good for another few rides, another few years. As of both of them are. Perfect. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. It's up to you, entirely up to you. So see you again in the next one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next time I might do something about the bike again, not sure, but so long, guys.